Hi, welcome back to Airstream Expeditions. We're Julio and Erica. In the last episode, we traveled to Page, Arizona and visited the Glen Canyon National Recreation Area. We paddled our kayak 10 miles down the Colorado River and also got to explore Lake Powell up close on a personal watercraft. Please join us as we drive north to Moab, Utah for the next few days and explore Arches National Park and the surrounding area. The park is home to over 2,000 natural arches, and our goal is to explore and admire the beauty that this national park has to offer. We were one of the lucky few to be able to nab a reservation at the sought-after Devil's Garden Campground, which is the only campground located within the national park. The campground is located around 30 minutes inside the park from the entrance gate. One of the advantages of camping here is that you don't have to wait in long lines at the main entrance gate, which can get pretty bad at times. Another advantage is that you are deep within the park and close to many amazing sites and trailheads, which eliminates the need for you to commute 1 hour to and from the nearest town of Moab. The Devil's Garden Campground is pretty much a long straight road with a loop at the end. So the Devil's Garden Campground is the only campground in Arches National Park, which is a huge advantage, especially if you want to get to some of the more popular hiking trails. There are a total of 51 sites and 2 group sites, and prices are $25 per night, and you can book a site on recreation.gov. You really can't go wrong with any of the sites here. They're all beautiful. They all have excellent features. You're either going to have a really good view or you're going to be nestled amongst the rocks and protected from the wind if it's windy. Just be aware of the site length. So in case you have a rig and you're not tent camping, you have to really check the website and make sure that the site is long enough to accommodate your rig. We're here at campsite 23, and when you get into the late teens, early 20s, you're at the very top of this little ridge. And these particular campsites have very good views. If it is windy, there's no protection from the wind, but if you're here on a very nice weekend like we are, spectacular. Awesome views of not only the sandstone formations, but also everything else. And we're here at site 21, our site, and I think we got really lucky getting the site. It's at the very top of the ridge, which means there's no obstructions, there's no rocks, and it's excellent for Starlink signal. And as you can see, we have one of the best views in the campground. So we got super lucky getting this site, and if I were to come back, I would make sure to try to get the same site again. I'm here at the amphitheater seating area, and as you can see, the backdrop, there's a magnificent arch there. Really, really cool setting here. You have the arch in the background. You have this whole seating area. The screen's nestled up against the big sandstone cliff here. Really awesome setting. The next morning, we watched the sunrise while we sipped on some coffee and got an early start to the day. Our first stop was one of the more popular spots in the park, which is Delicate Arch, a 3.2 mile round trip hike with an elevation gain of over 500 feet. When you start off on the trail, there's a short spur to the left, which is Wolf Ranch, the remains of a ranch which was built at the turn of the century, which we'll visit on the way back. The trail is flat for the first 1/10 of a mile, and it's pretty much uphill for the rest of the way.
Climb all the way up that hill right there. Parking lot's way down there. Had to make a pit stop for Erica. She was tired, so she has to get some water. I'm here standing up, just waiting for her to catch her breath, so we can continue up the hill.
Sure.
This here is Twisted Donut Arch. Anything with the name of Twisted Donut is okay in my book. If you climb all the way to the top, you can actually get a great view of Delicate Arch right from the hole. When you make it to the last quarter mile of the trail, it gets relatively narrow as you go up on slick rock. There are even some stairs to help you gain some elevation here. Eventually, we rounded the final corner and you can see Delicate Arch. The view of Delicate Arch in the morning was well worth a hike. It's one of the more iconic views in the United States, and it easily lives up to the hype when you go to see it in person. We hung out for a while to soak it all in, but it was time to head back to the trailhead and go to our next stop. On the way back to the parking lot, we made a quick stop at the Wolf Ranch. It's definitely worth checking out. You can still take a look inside and see what life would have been like living here at the turn of the century.
We're here at Balanced Rock, and that's it right there. It looks like it's balancing, but it was really the erosion that made it look like a big boulder bouncing on that column.
Balanced Rock is an iconic formation in Arches National Park. There's a little trail that walks up close to it and around the side. Balanced Rock is about 128 feet in height, and it feels like it could just roll off at any moment. Just to get a feel for the location and how long it takes to drive through the park, Balanced Rock is about 9 miles from the visitor center, which we will be visiting later in the episode. Driving through Arches National Park is amazing. You get wonderful views just about anywhere you look. But the best view, in my opinion, was the view of the Devil's Garden trailhead, which was located just next to our campground. Our next stop was the windows area of the park, which is one of the more popular locations because it's easy to access and you get stunning views of multiple arches. The trail here is a 1-mile loop, and it leads up to Turret Arch, South Window, and North Window. 3 arches all in one trail.
Really cool. We're here at the Windows Trail, and right behind me is Turret Arch. I'm here underneath Turret Arch, looking out towards another arch. Right behind me is the South Window. Behind me, you'll see the North Window. Kind of resembles an eye looking at you.
We highly recommend you arrive at the windows area of the park early in the morning, as the parking lot area here can fill up rather quickly.
And we stopped here at Panorama Point to have some lunch. There's a little picnic area here and some restrooms, but in reading this sign behind me, it looks like this is an excellent place to come in the evening to do some stargazing.
After the windows area of the park, we decided to pull out at the Panorama Viewpoint for some lunch. This is a great place to get some rest, have some lunch, and admire the views before continuing with your day. After lunch, we headed to the Arches National Park Visitor Center, which is located just a mile inside the entrance.
We're here at the Arches National Park Visitor Center. Let's go inside and check it out.
Inside, there were exhibits where we learned about the park's geology, plants and animals, and much, much more. There was also a replica arch, which was very cool, and an exhibit dedicated to educating people about the park's cultural history and native inhabitants. There was a huge window which faces the side of the cliff, which gives you a taste of what you're in for once you start your journey. Rangers here are also on hand to answer any questions and provide recommendations about sites of interest. There's also a bookstore and a gift shop where you can pick up your merchandise. My favorite part of the visitor center was the theater, where we were able to watch the movie Window in Time, which plays every 30 minutes. The center is open year-round, except for Christmas, and hours vary by season. Our next stop was the Park Avenue Trail and Viewpoint. The trail is 1 mile each way, or you can just go to the viewpoint and take in the view. We chose the viewpoint. This location is called Park Avenue because the rocks here reminded early visitors of big city skyscrapers.
We're here at the LaSalle Viewpoint, and right behind me is a view of the LaSalle Mountains.
After a quick stop at the LaSalle Mountain Viewpoint, we continued on to another turnout called the Fallen Arches Viewpoint.
Right behind me is Fallen Arches. Millions of years ago, there would have been an arch that spanned from here to there, but it has since fallen. Fallen Arches.
Our next pullout was for the Garden of Eden. This quick stop is worthwhile because of all the amazing rock formations.
This is the Garden of Eden Viewpoint right behind me.
After another few miles of driving, we made it to the Sand Dune Arch Trail. This trail is perfect if you have small children because it's only a 1/4 mile and it's just awesome. We're at the final stop of the trip, and this is the Sand Dune Arch Trail.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I can honestly say that Arches National Park is one of my favorite. The campground, the arches, the windows, and even the drive are all very beautiful. I think another day or two would have been great to explore the rest of the park and hike some of the other trails. On the bright side, I guess it gives us a reason to come back and visit. The next morning, we slept in, walked around the campground, and decided to visit the town of Moab and grab some lunch at the Moab Food Truck Park before we set off on our off-road sunset adventure.
Erica got the spring rolls. We also got some taro tea. And I got a Philly cheesesteak sandwich.
After exploring the town and killing some time, we made our way to the Moab Adventure Center, where we booked a 3-hour off-road sunset excursion. Just a few minutes away from town is the Sand Flats Recreation Area, where we took one of Moab's most famous off-road trails, Hell's Revenge.
Trick with this spot right here is getting as close as we can to the wall without actually getting our tires up there on the wall.
The first stop on the trail was an area with fossilized dinosaur tracks. These unique tracks provide a glimpse into the past. The tracks help paleontologists understand just how large the animal was, how fast it was moving, the direction it was heading, what environment it lived in, and other interesting activities about its daily life that we would not have been able to learn about from just the bones alone.
Alright, big climb coming up here. You guys ready?
This spot right here is called the Top of the World. It's the highest point on the trail with a great view of all the petrified sand dunes. Here in Moab at the Moab Summer Tour, and we went all over these rocks, did some rock climbing, and there's our fantastic views. We sure hope that you've enjoyed visiting Arches National Park with us. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to give us a big thumbs up below. And while you're down there, you'll see the comment section. If any of you have any questions or comments regarding things to do in the area or places to stay, please make sure to leave me a comment, and I'll make sure to get back to you as soon as possible. Also, if you're not yet a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And while you're down there, ring that notification bell to ensure that you don't miss any future episodes
of Airstream Expeditions. So, until next time, I remind you all that now's the time to get out and explore.